Welcome to the exclusive live event for Year 10s and 11s. We hope you've enjoyed browsing through the online event page. Now it's the time, if you've got any questions for any of the subject areas here today, including apprenticeships and careers, please ask them by putting them in the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen, and we will answer them all live for you today. Just before we head into the Q&A session, I'd like to play a dedicated schools video just to give you a snapshot of Hadlow College. So if you just bear with me and I will share that for you. So please enjoy. Welcome to Hadlow College. This video will showcase the opportunities we have on offer for you once you leave school. Some of you may not have had the chance to visit us, and we don't want you to miss out, so please enjoy this snapshot of Hadlow College. Offering a large range of courses to suit the needs of many different students, we specialise in both further and higher education. Hadlow is Kent's only specialist land-based college with over 80 years of knowledge within the land-based industries. Amongst the wealth of knowledge our staff members have, we have outstanding state-of-the-art facilities to support you in your learning with us. Our further education offer ranges from foundation programmes to level 3 and A-level equivalent courses, as well as an extensive apprenticeship offer. In addition, through our partnership with the University of Greenwich, we are able to provide a range of foundation and full honours degree courses designed to meet the needs of the industry. Apprenticeships, a great way to earn whilst you learn. Hadlow College achieved an outstanding 83% for their apprenticeship standard achievement rate, being 36.4 above the national average. You can find out more about our apprenticeships on our website. If you're aged between 16 and 18 years old on the 31st of August and enrolling on a further education programme, we have a number of financial support schemes in place to support you. Please visit our website for more information around careers advice and guidance, disability and learning support, financial support and student accommodation and much more. If you would like to start your journey with Hadlow College, applications are now open for a September start. Courses do fill up, so we advise applying as soon as possible. Once you have completed your application, you'll be contacted to begin your application process with us. Good luck! So I hope everybody enjoyed the video there. I'm going to get started with a few questions. I'm going to start with Steph from Equine. I've just got a few generic questions I'd like to ask you, Steph, if that's all right.
Yeah, sounds good.
So the first two, where are your courses based and what facilities do you have on site?
So we've got two sites that we run our Equine college qualifications at. So we've got our main site in Hadlow, which is in Tunbridge, and then we've got a site at Shooters Hill in Greenwich, in London. Both sites have got similar resources and also different resources. So our Hadlow site has got stabling for 64 horses, and we're at capacity at the moment. So we've got lots and lots of horses for everyone to learn with. And we have things like indoor schools and outdoor school, lots of turnout. We have a treadmill here, our classrooms, various different sort of equipment, so things like stocks, weighbridge, etc., for students to learn from. And then at our Greenwich site, we do have very similar. We have slightly less stabling, so 25 horses, and we have our therapy and rehab centre there. So we have an indoor equine pool, which obviously we're very, very lucky to have. It's a fantastic resource. We've got our aqua treadmill, so a water treadmill, and then we've got our spa. So our students at both sites basically go between the sites, obviously COVID depending at the moment, and get to use all our facilities, which is very exciting.
Perfect, thank you. The next two questions that I have for you here are, do you have any employer partners that could help students kind of get into that industry?
We do. So we do quite a lot with different employers in the industry. So we have quite a lot of guest speakers come in and give sort of talks to our students about progression, opportunities for employment, whether that be self-employed, working for an employer. We have various different things through sort of diet nutrition. So we work quite closely with Bailey's, our vets that we work with, Bell Equine. We do quite a lot of links and trips with those. All our students go out on a work placement. This is for level 2s and level 3 students. So our employers sort of support us to find suitable placements for those students, and either to sort of try part of the industry that they're maybe not sure if they want to work into, the sort of testing the waters, or to see if they want to go into an area that they're actually really keen on. So they get an ability to network, to travel potentially within the country, and just use different resources and support systems with different employers. So yeah, we do work quite closely with employers in the industry.
Perfect. My second question, I think you just touched on it a little bit, was just going to be about what events kind of do the students get to take part in? You mentioned a little bit about trips, but is there anything in particular that you know the students really enjoy?
So it varies year on year. This year, obviously, has thrown a curveball to everybody. So this year, we've done quite a lot online. So, for example, last week we had a Jason Webb webinar, which was all about natural horsemanship, and he talked us through sort of how he trains horses from the ground and under saddle, whether that's from mounting, loading, etc. So students across all levels can engage in, at the moment, online things like that. We have an event where industry representatives come into the college, and that's usually around this time, and they get to basically see our students at work. So we work quite closely to make sure that we're preparing students for the industry expectations that employers have, and also that the industry representatives are aware of the courses that we study and the content that students work with. So they will come in, and again, it'll be people from across the industry, so that we from eventing, dressage, show jumping, etc. And they will come in and speak to the students. They'll give demonstrations. We have things like a lecture demo. So each year we have somebody come in and ride their horses and give a bit of a lecture whilst doing so. So students get to see a competitor. We've usually had people that have run in the likes of, sort of the Olympics or different international national events. So yeah, we do. There's loads that students can get on board with, which is quite good. Keeps us busy.
Definitely. Perfect. Thank you very much, Steph. I'm going to move on to horticulture with Simon now. Thanks, Steph.
No problem.
So Simon, just a few questions here for you.
Yeah.
Do you guys offer apprenticeships or any work placements at all?
So what we often find is the nature of horticulture, because it is a very wide field. We often find people who are looking to do apprenticeships off the back of, say, a level 2 course, sometimes a level 3, because it's a broad skill base. You need a broad skill base to travel through horticulture.
Yeah.
So we often find apprenticeships come to us. We have people who've got qualifications in that area who then look to apprenticeships, because there's a lot of crossing over, be that landscaping, be that amenity management, football pitch management, and general land management, which apprenticeships run quite a lot of, even groundkeeping. And we already have the background knowledge to train people up to a point that if they went onto an apprenticeship, they'd be a lot more successful.
Definitely. Perfect. Lovely. So do you guys have in particular links with anyone within the industry that you can kind of push your students towards, any talks that happen or anything like that?
Yeah, so very we've always traditionally had people from the various subsectors of the industry who always approach us towards the end of every year and ask, okay, who are your outstanding students or students who've shown a particular skill set that we're looking for employment.
Mm-hmm.
So we're often approached for that, because we are training to something that there is a dearth within industry at the moment. There are people without the skill sets, and we are losing people further up the chain. We regularly have visitors that we apply for and say, would you want to come in and talk about this? Pre-COVID, we used to have all sorts of producers. We used to run a little producers mark here where we'd have like 8 or 9 primary people come in, and they would talk about their industry and show the progression line, where you can go, how you get there, and stuff like that. So yeah, we have lots of, certainly last couple of years, nursery stock focused, We are getting more sort of wardens and land managers as well, and now looking interested to be involved. We even had a couple of celebrities who've, yeah,
Wow.
gardens or celebrities who sort of like turn up to just talk to the kids about, why they were interested and why they got involved and why they should. So, yeah, pre-COVID, yeah, we had a lot, and we're now building a program to reintroduce that and to provide as a lot of departments are creating more sort of webinar things and possibly even a YouTube channel. So we'll see.
Wow. Okay. Lovely. So lots of things coming up by the sounds of things. That's
Yeah, very
really,
much
really
so.
good. So what kind of equipment or tools, facilities, what's it like on campus that could kind of support the students whilst they're on their course?
Well, we have the two sites, obviously. We have the Court Lane site, which was the traditional glass houses. So that's where we can at least practice some of the high-end skill sets. And obviously we use Broadview Gardens now quite exclusively, and the science labs. So we have pretty much every type of land slash plant management somewhere on site. So you can, if you want to learn about apples, you can. If you want to learn about marginal water plants and how riverways are managed, we can, because the facilities are there either within us or attached to previous departments. So it's very varied, and obviously we need quite a lot of space. Not as much as the tractor boys, who need quite a bit of fielding to plough, but we need a fair bit of space to help people understand the land that they're on. So yeah, we have multi facilities across every site, and we tend to share with other departments because we're all sort of linked.
Yeah, definitely. So kind of what areas do horticulture cover, if you could just kind of clarify that?
Well, I mean, the traditional one that everybody thinks it's, the individual in a van driving around cutting Mrs. Miggy's hedge. But you've got everything from sort of like super specialist spec end, which like you might be West Ham's pitch manager, right down to you might be down on the Cornish coast managing fauna on coastal erosion points, right down to fun fairs and zoos, just making sure everything grows there, right into science labs.
Wow.
Because it is essentially a mixed science and the stuff that grows on the land that everybody uses, it is very broad. So it does give us a scope for people to go, actually, I just want to mess around with plants, or actually, I want to know why trees keep falling down. It's like, okay, well, maybe you need to come to us and we'll help you understand soil erosion and stuff like that. So it's a very big field.
Perfect. Wow, that's really good. Thank you very much,
No
Simon.
problem
I'm
at
going to
all.
move on to Lindsay now from Floristry. So thank you, Simon. Hi, Lindsay.
Hi there. Hi.
How are you?
Fine, thanks. Yeah.
Good, good. So just a few questions for yourself. And the first one, and I think this is going to be the main question across all of the subjects at Hadlow, and it's just getting to ask you about the facilities and equipment. I think Hadlow has got amazing facilities on site, and it's something that we really need to showcase and let the students be aware of. So if you could start that one off with the facilities, the equipment, just what you have on site to support the students throughout the course in floristry.
Okay, so we're situated at the back of the garden centre at Hadlow, and we're nestled between that building and the lovely grounds of the Broadview Gardens. So we're really in sort of gorgeous settings, which really sort of helps students with their creative abilities and the creative flow. We have 3 dedicated classrooms to accommodate the students. In fact, we've just moved into a new one, which is being assembled at the moment. We've got students in there now that's got beautiful facilities with light, airy ceilings and roofs, the high ceilings, beautiful space to really, well, apart from social distancing at the moment, but there's plenty of space for large scale designs and creativity. We have a shed out the back where we have our chiller. So we have chiller facilities to keep our flowers and foliages in tip-top condition, which is very important. And everything we do, we're trying to sort of guide towards the industry spec, industry norms. So chiller cabinets are expected these days, and everything we do, we sort of gear towards the students being able to actually go out into the workplace. Yeah. They have that creative drive, but they need to have practical application, and that's what our courses are geared towards doing. So everything we do is really practical in that sense. We have lots of different speakers that come in from the industry, some all industry links. We come in have come in to speak to us. Obviously, this year it's been a bit different. We've had a couple of nice Zoom links. One of those was from Blooming Green over at Linton near Maidstone, which are a fresh flower farm. So the emphasis these days, we keep up with trends and sort of cultural fashions, and one of the trends these days is for British grown flowers. So it's really making a comeback in the light of any difficulties that we might have from getting flowers from Holland. So that was a really interesting talk and really sort of informative for students. So we try to open up the possibilities to guide our students into different areas that might be of interest to them in career-wise. You know, the traditional one of the florist going into a shop is kind of just one of the possibilities. A lot more people are geared up towards working individually for events, that kind of thing, just purely events. So we sort of try and sort of gear our students up to be able to go off into whichever direction they want to. Some of the other things we do at college here, we have, I mean, our actual department is quite small, but it's, you know, it's well equipped. But the thing is, when you think of flowers, you want to think about display. So we try and sort of put our flowers around the college in various display areas. Again, unfortunately this year it's been a bit curtailed because of the COVID situation, and basically no one's been here to look at them.
Well, I've noticed that you're selling some Mother's Day flowers, is that right?
Absolutely. So this is an area where we try to tie in some work experience, because obviously work experience is absolutely key for all our courses. And in the event of this year where maybe students haven't been able to go out to work, we've tried to provide instances where they can practice their work experience, sort of the customer service. So yes, we've got a workshop going on right this moment where students are preparing floral designs for sale at the garden centre. We're working very closely with the garden centre so that we can provide designs, and so the students get a flavour of that creative job satisfaction of selling something that they've made.
Yeah, perfect. And is the garden centre the Broadview Gardens, just to clarify?
Yeah,
and could you
Broadview
just, is that on site at Hadlow?
Yes, absolutely. It's at Hadlow. So very, very obvious when you come up the drive. It's on the left-hand side as you come up the drive, and lovely big car park and big sort of frontage there. And our buildings are literally tacked onto the back of that. So we have very good, close working relationship with the garden centre.
Perfect. And is that open to public as well, for them to come in? And
Yes, it is open for the public to come and view, and also the gardens are available for the public to have a wander around and enjoy as well.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Lindsay. Thank you. So I'm going to move on to Jo now from Animal Management.
Hello.
Hello, Jo. How are you?
Yeah, well, thank you.
Good. So my opening question is going to be the facilities and what you have on site. If you can go in a little bit of detail of that, that would be amazing.
Absolutely. So we are really lucky to have our own mini zoo, if you like. So we try to cover as many species as possible, because simply because our students go off into all different ranges of industry, really. So we're just trying to get them as sort of well versed in as many different species as possible. So we have a whole dedicated aquatics room, we have an aviary section, we have amphibian and reptile room, an invertebrate section, exotic animals, we have farm livestock, we have even animals such as marmosets and raccoon dogs and rheas, so yeah, and otters as well, actually. So we try and work with some dangerous animals as well to make sure that our students are as fully equipped as possible to go out, because many of them do go on to work with species such as those. We also have dog kennels as well, because we do, although we don't hold dogs on site generally, we do have sort of behaviour sessions and things like that, because obviously students may well go on to do some dog behaviour training and dog work. So we do bring dogs in on a regular basis, and we have a brand new actually dedicated dog training area as well. Yeah, so all bases covered. We're also really lucky to have on site the National Centre for Reptile Welfare. They are in partnership with the college, and our students work a lot with them. And I believe it's the first of its kind in the UK to rescue reptiles, which our students absolutely love, and they engage with really well. And they're always in there. If ever you can't find a student, they'll be in there. So that's a great sort of most recent addition to our animal unit.
Perfect, amazing. So is there anything in terms of work placements or apprenticeships?
We don't hold apprenticeships as part of the animal unit. I believe there is a sort of animal related apprenticeship that Hope may speak about. But yeah, there is always an opportunity for work experience, and particularly with our technical instructor team. So alongside our lecturing staff, we also have really valuable technical instructors. So they're almost like our zookeepers, if you like. Yeah. And I believe, yeah, we have most certainly done work experience with that sort of side of things to kind of allow students see if that's the sort of industry they want to go into.
Yeah, perfect. Could you tell me a little bit more about the turtle tally that you've been up to, if that's okay?
Yeah, so that's something one of our lecturers, Susie Simpson, has been involved in, which is looking at kind of conservation of turtles and checking the different species of turtles. Yeah, and I believe that is in partnership, as I say, with the National Centre for Reptile Welfare. Okay. So yeah, they've been absolutely fantastic and really done a lot of it's hugely valuable work for turtle conservation, which we're really proud to say that we're involved with.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay.
So what would you kind of say the ratio between your practical and theory is?
That's a really good question, a common question as well, actually. So it depends on the level. So if I start by level one tends to be slightly more practical. So our level one offer is actually a level one in land-based studies rather than purely animal management. So when a student enrolls onto the level one, they can choose whether they would like to specialise in animal management, fisheries or agriculture. And therefore, you can imagine there's quite a lot of practical involved because we're trying to get them to dabble in practical animal stuff, some fisheries bits and bobs, and some agriculture as well, and also some plant science, I must add as well. So plant science, just to see if, what sort of thing that they like, and they can then go into that in level two. So that lends itself more to the practical side of things. Once you get to level two and level three, you're probably looking at about a 60-40 split. So 60% of the course will tend to be in the classroom, and 40% will be out in the field on the unit, getting stuck in.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Jo. I'm going to move on to Josh now from agriculture. So thank you very much, Jo.
Okay.
Hiya.
Hi, Josh. How are you?
Not too bad, thanks. You?
Good. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. So again, my first question is going to be all about the facilities and equipment that you have on site.
So facilities wise for agriculture, we've got quite a few different parts to the farm. Obviously, we've got our milking herd down here at the dairy, where they're currently milking just over 100 cows. We've then got about 350 breeding ewes, which they're currently lambing at the minute in the lambing sheds. And then we also use Princess Christian Farm as well, which is where we've got all the pigs, and I believe there's some chickens there as well. And then we also team up with a local arable farmer as well, so that our students can get a little bit more arable experience and also a bit of tractor driving as well. So we also go to machinery engineering and use their tractors as well as part of tractor driving for the course. So
perfect. Wow, really broad range there.
Yeah, just a bit.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So my next question is going to be about work placements or any apprenticeships that you guys offer within your department.
So apprenticeships again would go more towards Hope, but with our work experience, so our students, our level twos and our level threes, they're encouraged to do external work experience. Our level threes actually do some internal as well. So during the lambing period, our level threes would be on a rota in the lambing shed, first year's doing day shifts and second year's doing the night shifts, so that our lambing shed is manned 24 hours a day for 4 weeks of the year. But they're also encouraged to go out into industry and get external work experience, and we've got quite a good amount of connections with the industry, and they can really choose sort of where they want to go, whether they want to go down the arable or the dairy or the sheep route. And we try to encourage the students to make sure that they're getting a variety of different placements, because obviously when they come here, they don't always leave doing what they thought they would. Quite often we get students coming in that are mad about sheep and end up going off into the dairy industry. So we try to encourage them to switch between the different sort of enterprises in our agriculture, so that they really get a taste for everything and decide where they want to sort of go later on.
Perfect. Yeah, talking about kind of a variety of different elements, what if you could expand on what elements of farming do you learn on the course? What areas are there in a sense?
So for our level 2s, they would do things like machinery, and they'll learn a bit about the arable sort of side to agriculture. They'll also do sort of things like livestock husbandry, so they'll cover a broad spectrum of different livestock enterprises within one unit. Within our level 3s, they sort of specialise a little bit more, so then they'll look more in depth at dairy, sheep, pigs, more in depth for crops, while also getting practical experience again with things like tractor driving and field operations and estate skills as well, so like learning how to put a fence up correctly and stuff like that. So it really is a real mix of units within the courses for agriculture.
Perfect. So in terms of, obviously you have your normal standard levels in FE, is there anything that you offer in regards to HE, progression routes in a sense?
Yeah, so we have our level 3s, and then obviously we have our degrees as well. So there's always the chance for people to progress from our level 3 up to degree, and some people do choose to do that, which is good. So yeah, there is the progression there. There's the option there to go up into a degree later on, or out into industry, or even into apprenticeships. Some decide they want to do that. So.
Yeah. Perfect. All right then. Thank you very much, Josh. I'm going to move
No
on to
worries.
Steve now. Hi, Steve.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good, good. So you will be talking about agricultural engineering. So first of all, once again, facilities, equipment. What is there to help the students on site?
There is lots in agriculture engineering. We've got a very well-equipped workshop. We've got one of the biggest workshops for colleges in the southeast. We're equipped with a lot of projects that are ongoing. We try and do a lot of project work with the students. So students in small numbers get a project each to work on, which covers all of the scenarios that they might find in a normal workshop. We also try and get people to donate us projects that might be off of farms. They're not necessarily the colleges, so that we're working in the workshop as a commercial workshop, which means that things are more timely. They have to be done within a certain time frame. Students have to look at costings and prices, and it's run more as a proper workshop would be,
real life,
as well as a real life one, as well as a sort of workshop for training. We do have a few rigs that we teach on as well, but we kind of do that with the first years right at the very beginning, and then they move on to working on the project work. So we've got really good facilities here. We've got a nice big tractor yard outside that we teach tractor driving in as well. It's important for all the students, even though they're doing engineering, to learn how the machinery works, so that they can diagnose faults and things like that as well. So yeah, we've got good facilities here.
Yeah, is there many different tractors, so they have to get used to variations of tractors? What kind of ones do you have on site?
Yeah, so we've got Ford, we've got New Holland, we've got Valtra, John Deere. We cover most of the major makes. Anything that we haven't got, we've got good dealership relationships, so we get stuff in from dealerships. We have dealerships come in and do training days as well. Dealerships tend to sort of specialise in one or two makes, so we try and make sure that we can get all the makes covered whilst the students are here for their 2 years. And yeah, there's a lot that goes on with all the different makes. So yeah, there's a lot of different makes, and generally you will find that if the students leave and go to a dealership, then they will get taught on that make that the dealership work on.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So in terms of other opportunities, so apprenticeship, work placements, is there anything like that within your department?
So at present, we don't do apprenticeships. I will probably tell you a bit more about that. But a lot of our students go on to apprenticeships after they've
Yeah.
finished. Certainly, if they go to a dealership, they'll then carry on and do a 2-year apprenticeship to specialise in their product.
Yep.
We also do make sure that they've done a block 2 weeks of work experience. Most of the students that are here have got an idea of where they want to go when they start. So they might go to a dealership or a private workshop or something similar. So they go out into the work experience and get a bit of an idea of what the job's all about. And we get quite a high success rate of students that go into the industry at the end of the 2 years, generally because of the work experience and we've got such good links with the industry as well.
Perfect. And what kind of are those links, if you don't mind me asking? If you could go into a bit more detail into employee links, maybe?
So we've got employer links with all the major dealerships that are around here. So, for instance, Crawford's, they're an agricultural company that we deal with a lot. A lot of our students go on to apprenticeships with them. Agwoods are another good dealership. Haynes are another one that we deal with. We also get students that come here and go on to do work with general workshops.
Yep.
They might go to fabrication workshops and do welding and build staircases and all sorts of wonderful things like that as well. And we've got good links with some of the local fabrication shops around here. So yeah, and we do a lot of shows and events as well. So we see a lot of the dealerships and various things at different shows, and the students get to talk to all of them. So yeah, they get a kind of foot in the door before they leave.
That's always good. That's always good.
Yeah.
Perfect. Lovely. So in terms of progression, do you have any HE? Is there a high percentage that maybe go into jobs? And if so, where do they end up?
Yeah, so again, progression-wise, we don't run a HE course here. University of Kent and other various universities around do agricultural engineering and engineering degrees, so you can go on to do that. Most of our students tend to go into employment. Some go straight into the farm. Some of them that come here have got family farms. They want to maintain their own equipment, so they go into the family farm. We get quite a few, as I said, that go into the dealerships. That seems to be our main route of employment. And then you can also go into car garages from agriculture engineering. We get quite a lot that go into truck and bus engineering as well. So if people are doing, interested in commercial work, they go into truck and bus, MC truck and bus, and places like that. So yeah, there's at the moment, especially, there's a national shortage of trained engineers. So it's a good job to be in at the moment. You can go out with good wage prospects and a good chance of getting a job within the industry. 90% of our students that are here go out to a job in the industry.
Well, that's perfect. That's exactly what people want to hear. Getting straight out there and getting a job. Brilliant. Perfect. Thank you so much, Steve. I'm going to move on to Tim now from Fisheries.
Hey, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Good. So again, I'm going to ask you, the big question is the facilities, the equipment. What do you have on site at Hadlow?
Well, we're very spoilt from fisheries. So our remit in fisheries is really aquatics, aquaculture, and fisheries management. So we're very lucky. Just 4 miles up the road, we've got the Grove Farm and Grove Fishery. So it's a commercial carp farm, as well as a fishery where students can actually partake in angling, if that's what they enjoy doing. And we do a lot of practicals up there, teaching them how to maintain a fishery, which is what a lot of them start their journey with us, wanting to be a fishery manager. So we're really fortunate to have that facility on site to train them in. On site ourselves, we've got the Bourne Hatchery, which is an aquaculture producing business. So it essentially means we're growing species of fish that we could actually sell for food. And we're one of the only places in the country that actually stock the African walking catfish. And this is a catfish that actually can jump out of the tanks and like walk around on the floor, and you find it in the morning. So we've got a lid on it now, but they're really exciting to see. And they get a bit splashy when you go say hello to them. We also got carp and tilapia up there. So we've got species that cover a kind of warm water climates, cold water climates. And in that Bourne Hatchery as well, we've also got aquatics units. So we've got, your kind of tropical ornamental fish, and we link up with animal management as well and use their facility as well. And they come down to us and look at the cold water species. So we work very closely with animal management in that regard, sharing our fish resources. But not only do we have the Bourne Hatchery and Grove Farm Fishery, we've also got the River Bourne, which literally runs through Hadlow College. So often during a lesson, we'll just pop out and we'll actually go look at the situation. So we might talk about water pollution or some sort of vegetation on the river. We can just literally walk down to the river and actually have a physical look. So we're very spoiled to have the river literally running through the college. And we also got a variety of ponds and other lakes on site, ranging from ornamental ones with filtration, so the students can learn about how they might go out in the industry and build ponds, and what's involved, to kind of wildlife ponds, helping the improve the local biodiversity by adding water in a kind of pond. So very sport with choice in terms of facilities. And in terms of equipment, we've got all the kind of gear to obviously look after the fish we talked about, but we also got a range of seine nets and electrofishing equipment for when we go on to practicals with local fisheries and potential riverways. So we have commercial contracts where we go out and we'll survey the environment on behalf of the rivery or fishery owner, which is really a kind of a key grab. So we go do quite a few practicals a year, normally in winter when it's better for the fish.
Perfect. Wow. So could you tell me a little bit about like any links maybe with environment agencies or employers or anything like that? That would be really interesting.
Yeah, well, the really interesting thing about the aquatics and kind of fisheries industry is that it's actually quite, everyone knows everyone. So we're very lucky. We've got really tight links with a lot of the environment agency. So I think we've got about 2 ex-students now employed in the environment agency. So they gave us guest lectures last week, it was actually.
Wow.
As well as CFAS as well, which is the kind of disease lab that supports kind of fisheries in the UK. And we've got contacts with the Institute of Fisheries Management. And some of our students are now working up in farms in Scotland as well, doing research, looking at how we can improve the growth of salmon by reducing some of the pests that are associated with salmon. So lots of links with the kind of big governmental employers, but also links with other local universities, and a lot of angling sites around as well. So we pretty much know all of the kind of major fishery lakes in Kent, and that's often where some of our students go to do their work experience.
Brilliant. So obviously for people that are thinking of coming to fisheries, doing a fisheries course from school, they maybe do it as a little bit of a hobby, but they don't really know too much. Do you teach them like the basics, like the simplest thing about tying a fishing knot to the science behind it as well?
Yeah, very much so. So you're kind of quite right. Most people start fisheries because they have a passion for angling, normally carp angling in the southeast. But we teach them everything from fish biology. So why do we find the fish? Why do they look the way they look? To fish health and welfare. So if they catch a fish and it's kind of disease, then, well, what's causing the disease? What do we need to do? And then through to in kind of second year, we look at aquaculture systems. So how to produce fish for food or for the ornamental industry. And what we tend to see progression wise is people start as anglers and they think, yeah, well, this is good. It's a hobby, but it's good. But actually now I'm going to focus on the aquaculture side, which is where there's so many opportunities. If you look at one of the largest growing industry worldwide, it'll be aquaculture, and it can literally take you global because it's the easy answer to kind of create more protein to feed the world. So aquaculture is really a big driver in our industry.
Yeah, perfect. Is there any other crossover with any other on-site subjects? So maybe like horticulture and fisheries. Do you guys have a collaboration at all?
Yeah, we're actually in the process of finishing a collaboration with them, or starting the project, shall I say. But there's a kind of a way of growing things called aquaponics, and this is where you grow fish alongside kind of plants and vegetables. So we've just teamed up with horticulture now, and we've done a few projects already where we're actually going to be having our tilapia, the warm water fish. They're going to be eating the food we feed them, and their waste actually is then used by the plants to grow food. And aquaponics is a really up and coming industry as well, allowing for something called vertical farming, where essentially you can have a city centre, you can have a warehouse full of aquaponic units, and then the food is literally there in the city centre. So yeah, that's definitely where we're working closely with horticulture in that.
Brilliant. Wow, amazing. Thank you very much for the insight there. I'm going to move on to Heather now. Thank you, Tim. Hi, Heather.
Hello.
Hello, so Heather, you are from careers, so I've got a few questions for yourself.
Yeah.
So for example, one of the big things that when I'm going out to schools or schools are coming to me and they ask the question of what if I don't like my course? What happens then? I think that's a big worry for people. They're doing this massive step into college, but they want to make sure that it's right for them. But what if it's not right for them? Is there any options for them?
Yeah, so it will depend at what point they come to this realization. Obviously, within the careers team, we always try to give as much advice and guidance as possible from the very beginning. Schools tapping into events like this, virtual open days, anything like that, to get as much information as possible to make sure that they're making the right decision. There will inevitably be one or two students that once they arrive, it's not quite what they thought it was going to be. And then as I say, it depends on timing. So generally, if students within the first few weeks decide that they're on completely the wrong course, we always say speak to your tutors, come and speak to the careers team, and we can look at other options, and there is some movement. Then normally once we get past October half term, then you're pretty much staying on the course that you're enrolled on, or again, come and speak to the careers team and we can look at other options. And for some students, that might mean moving into an apprenticeship. For some, it might mean going out to work. So there's always opportunities to talk through those kind of scenarios and have support with them.
Perfect, thank you. One of the big things that I don't think many people know, especially for FE students, that there is some sort of a student accommodation on site available. If you could kind of expand on that, that would be great.
So yeah, obviously, as mentioned at the very beginning, Hadlow is the only land-based college in Kent. So some of our students travel quite a long way to come to Hadlow, and some of those students choose to live on site. So we do have residential accommodation. Included within that, there are two packages. So you might have a half board package or a full board package, which then provides all your meals in the on-site canteen. And obviously we have resident support staff as well to help those students that are living away from home, because for the first time at 16, that could be quite a big move for you. There is also student bursary and financial support, and students that are eligible for the bursary will quite often then get help with cost of accommodation too. If anybody's interested in applying for financial support and the bursary, you need to have applied to college, have your offer, and then the bursary application should be opening after Easter, and everything will be online through the website.
Perfect, thank you. So in terms of how many courses people can apply for, what would be the advice around them? Maybe if they're not too sure what to do, can they apply for more than one course?
Yeah, you can apply for more than one. As we all know, the computers can get a little bit confused if we overload them with too much information. I would normally say try not to apply for more than two. Obviously, you don't have to apply for every level of course. Most courses are available at level 1, level 2 and level 3. And you would apply for the level that you feel suits you rather than applying for all 3 levels. If at any point you're concerned about which level you should be applying for, again, you can speak to one of the careers team and we can talk you through that. Everybody that applies is invited to interview. Obviously, at the moment, those interviews tend to be taking place remotely. A lot of the interview process will include completing of an interview task, which will vary from department to department. And likewise, the interview itself will vary. Some departments are interviewing via phone and some are setting up Zooms or Teams meetings.
Okay, perfect. So is there kind of a date when people need to apply by? What if somebody hasn't applied yet? Is there a long application process?
Okay, we don't have a deadline. Obviously, courses do fill up and places are offered on a first come, first served basis. So if you're thinking about coming, it's wise to put your application in as soon as you can. I generally suggest to students that aren't sure about whether college is right for them or not to put their application in. It's much easier to let us know at a later date that you're not coming than it is to apply last minute in September. A last minute enrolment can get a bit hairy for everybody involved in it. So if you can apply sooner rather than later, that would be a good move. But applying doesn't commit you to anything. There's still plenty of opportunity to get advice, get support, and make sure you're making the right choices for you.
Perfect. Lovely, thank you. So in terms of obviously GCSE results, this is a slightly different. There's been a few changes with the COVID situation developing. However, what if people don't get their GCSE results that they need for that required course? Is there any support or advice given?
Yes, again, the careers team are available at enrolment events. So every student applies, goes through the interview process, is made an offer, is then normally made a conditional offer, and that will be on you getting certain grades to start a certain level of course. If you haven't quite met the grades required, you would have a conversation with the curriculum team to see if there's any wriggle room there. If you were quite a long way off the results required, in the most case, we try to move you down a level within the same curriculum area. And likewise, sometimes results can take students by surprise and they've applied for a level 2 course when actually they meet the entry requirements for level 3, and we can move them up that way. And then obviously, in my role as careers coordinator, I work across both Hadlow College and West Kent College. So sometimes, particularly on the engineering side, we have some wiggle room there to maybe study lower levels at West Kent before moving on to Hadlow for the level 3.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Heather. I'm going to move on to Hope now from apprenticeships. Hi, Hope.
Hi.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you.
Good, good. So we've had throughout all the subject areas, we've had a few little pop-ups and mentions of apprenticeships. Is there anything that you could kind of just say that says these are the apprenticeships that you offer? Maybe if you just kind of clarify on the levels as well, that would be really useful.
Okay, yeah, fine. So currently at Hadlow College, we offer 14 different types of apprenticeships across land-based study areas. The starting point is at level 2 up to level 5. We're always looking to develop new apprenticeships, you know, through our working connections with industry. And I'm really pleased to say that from September, we're going to be adding to our apprenticeship portfolio by offering equine. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah.
So the types of apprenticeships we offer range from anything from horticulture operative, landscape operative, sports turf operative, which is working in organisations such as Premier Football Clubs, Millwall, Charlton Athletic. We offer golf greenkeeping, advanced golf greenkeeping, and golf course manager at level 5. We offer the next step up for supervisory and horticulture supervisor, floristry, animal care and welfare. We also offer lots of areas across agriculture in terms of crop technician, stock person, and poultry technician as well. So we do cover quite a wide suite of the land-based sector in apprenticeships.
Definitely, it sounds like it. That's really good. Amazing, thank you. So in terms of if somebody's interested in applying for an apprenticeship, what's the process? Do they need to find an employer first? How does it work?
Well, ideally, it's always the quickest route for those that are looking for apprenticeships to do their homework, you know, to do a little bit of legwork, contact their local sector areas in which they're looking for an apprenticeship. You know, because that is one of the quickest routes in if they've already got an employer in place.
Yeah.
If not, we will work really closely with those looking for apprenticeships in terms of giving them advice and guidance, how to find an apprenticeship through the Find Me an Apprenticeship web service. We work with a whole host of employers, about 250 across the land-based areas, you know, and sometimes you will get some of those standout applications that, you know, we would then refer on to employers, because it may not necessarily they be looking at that time. But sometimes, you know, if we do have those standout applicants, you know, we can go direct to employers. You know, as I say, we have repeat business with our employers year on year. We don't offer the traditional September to July delivery mode of apprenticeships.
Okay.
We have 4 intakes a year.
Wow. Okay.
So it does create quite a lot of opportunities.
Definitely.
But, you know, as I said, the quickest process is to come already armed with an employer.
Perfect. Lovely. Thank you. So in terms of pay, which is quite a big thing around apprenticeships, that's one of the reasons why I think people go into it. So how much are people kind of expected to be paid? Is it down to the employer, anything like that?
Okay, well, we have a whole range of different hourly rates what our employers pay. The actual government hourly rate is £4.15 for your first year of an apprenticeship. That increases as of the 1st of April. That will go up to £4.30, and every April of every year, the apprenticeship hourly wage will increase. We're very, very lucky where we do work quite closely with our employers. We have some employers that do pay the minimum wage, and we also have some employees that pay up to £12 an hour for an apprentice.
Wow.
Or on a salary band between 18 and 25k. So it really does, you know, depend on the types of employers we are working with.
Yep.
You know, and as I said, we've done quite a lot of work through the team and the employer engagement teams as well, you know, to start looking in terms of, you know, a wage that really, really does reflect the kind of roles in which they're doing, specifically in land-based. You know, if you look at a greenkeeper, they're out on the golf course at 5 o'clock in the morning, you know, and in all weathers. You know, the same if you look at agricultural farming, you know, it is not your 9 to 5 normal job. So we do work quite closely with employers in terms of, you know, looking at the reality of wages when it comes to apprentices.
Perfect, thank you. So just my last question, and it's going to be around entry requirements. If somebody maybe didn't get the grades that they expected, or if they don't have any GCSEs, is there still opportunity to become an apprentice?
Yes, there are. You know, initially, you know, we look at every apprentice on an individualized basis.
Yeah.
Okay, so, you know, sometimes there is a reason as to why some of those apprentices may not have successfully achieved exams, or there's a story behind that. But every apprentice, before we do take them on, we will do an initial assessment and a diagnostic assessment to see what is their starting point, you know, because we will not take an apprentice on knowing full well that we're setting them up to fail.
Yeah.
You know, if they are very, very far away from that reaching point, you know, we will refer them maybe to a lower level curriculum course, you know, and we will help as best as we can to try and seek opportunities for them. We won't leave them on, you know, on their own. You know, we will try and give them the best help, advice and guidance where we possibly can.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Hope, for the insight around apprenticeships. I'm going to move on to Abby now from Foundation Learning. Hi, Abby.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
Good, good. So my first question is just if you could give everybody a little bit of insight around what is Foundation Learning and what's it all about?
Absolutely. So Foundation Learning is predominantly an entry-level provision. So we support learners who arrive at the college who have no formal qualifications for a number of reasons, or who have learning difficulties and disabilities and have achieved a qualification that doesn't quite meet the criteria for the level 1 programs offered across the rest of the college. And it's all about supporting them to increase the level of their qualification and develop other skills around that in the hope of progressing on once they've completed a year or 2 with us.
Perfect, thank you. That's really good. So in terms of obviously their progression, once they've completed their Foundation Learning, is there opportunities, the skills that they will gain on those Foundation Learning courses that will make them maybe more employable, or more so going into full study programs within the college in other areas?
Yeah, absolutely. We're very lucky in the way that we deliver the programs. So they're very tailored around individuals' needs.
Yep.
So that they will focus around the employability skills we have a number of our learners who have EHCPs, so the programme will be delivered around supporting them develop their work towards their outcomes in their EHCP, again supporting that progression. We run a weekly work experience session, and we link very closely with local organisations such as the National Trust and Tunbridge Morning Borough Council. So we're continuously developing those skills throughout their programme with us, and improving their opportunities wherever the progression routes take them.
Perfect. So where are the courses based in terms of foundation learning?
So we are very lucky. All Hadlow College foundation students are Hadlow students, so they do have some lessons at Hadlow main campus. We're also very fortunate, as Josh touched on a little bit earlier, to have Princess Christian's Farm, which is in Hildenborough.
Okay.
It's a slightly smaller environment. It's a working farm, so we do have some agricultural animals, but we also have a small animal unit with animals varying from snakes to rabbits and guinea pigs to alpacas and some emus at the moment. And again, we have a large horticulture department. So it supports those students who haven't quite decided which path they'd like to take. The programme is designed that they will have an opportunity to try each vocational area, and again, supporting that progression for them.
So it's kind of a little snippet of all of the areas.
Absolutely, yeah. Brilliant,
lovely. So there is definite support for those that have potential additional learning needs. The college kind of has that structure in place to support those that want to come to college. There's no barriers in a sense.
Yeah, absolutely. We work very closely with the additional learning support team at the college. So anyone that would have an EHCP, it would come into the college for consultation, and also would identify the support that was required for that individual within that. And we have, specific support staff in each group, obviously, to support those learners, and either medically or for any other reason, to meet their needs and obviously make the progress they need.
Perfect, thank you. So thank you, that was great insight to foundation learning there, Abby. Thank you very much. I think there's going to be time for just one more question from each area. So I'm just going to pop over to Steph now, back from Equine. Hi, Steph.
Hello.
Hello. So just a little quick question here. It's more a little bit tailored in a sense. Can people that come into equine, if they want to specialise in maybe horse nutrients, can they do that, nutrition?
Yeah, so within each of our programs from level 1, 2 and level 3, and we do deliver, I know this is linked to schools, but we do deliver HE programs as well at each site, so there's lots of progression. There's lots of the topics we cover are really varied. So for example, on each level they might have like a work experience unit, or they might go to a nutrition unit, biology, TAC, prepping, present, so getting horses ready for competition. So they don't necessarily specialise as such on each unit, but the units cover a lot of different content to really get a feel for each level and different jobs in industry. The two different routes they can go down, so there's a ridden route and a stable management route on each level. So the learners, obviously, hopefully once COVID settles a little bit, will come in and have a riding assessment at their site, whether that's Greenwich or Hadlow, ride one of the college horses in walk and trot, just so we can check that they are able to sort of apply aids and safe and a good sort of starting point. And then if they pass that riding assessment, they can be a rider for that course. And each level will depend whether or not, for example, that's on the flat or over fences. If they don't pass a riding assessment, unfortunately, because maybe they have only just sort of started riding, something like that, or if they choose not to ride, they do the stable management route. That varies on each level, but it tends to be at the moment a behavioural route that they go down. So looking at the horses in sort of stable environment, in field turnout environment, and looking at various sort of aspects of behaviour, things like that.
Perfect, thank you very much. Thank you. I'm going to move over to Simon again from horticulture. Hi, Simon. Oh.
There you go.
Hello. So one of my questions is in terms of the employment routes and kind of what the career progression is. So if somebody wanted to become a gardener and run their own business, is this something that the course would help with? And maybe a tree surgeon, things like that?
Yeah, definitely. Because of the nature of horticulture, we have to be quite broad, but within each level, we drop at least 2 specialist subjects in,
Okay.
just so people can see, okay, so, even if you progress through a couple of courses, you're going to have 4 or 5 known specialist areas with some detailed knowledge of. And when we come to them leaving or they're moving on, in theory, they'd have the broad base so that they can look at these fields and say, well, maybe I can go and work for them and sort of know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But if they've shown a specialist interest, this comes back to our links with industry, because we can say, well, actually, yeah, Bobby was an average student or Susan was an average student, but they were absolutely obsessed with trees, or they were absolutely obsessed with like propagation management, and they were very good at it. We can direct them towards someone who can further their education in the workplace as opposed to academically.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Simon. I'm going to move over to Lindsay from Floristry. Hi, Lindsay.
Hi there. Hi.
Hello. So it's a very similar question to that I asked Simon. It's more about the career, the end career in a sense. If somebody is interested in becoming a florist and having their own shop in a sense, would the course teach them a little bit about the business skills that they need for that?
Definitely. We have a strong area of customer service in one of the units in our floristry courses, both level 2 and level 3. Level 2 is industry entry level. So you're sort of learn the basics of being able to go into a florist shop and work as a florist, and that takes care of all the practical floristry, all the preparation of floristry products from cut flowers through to the finished design. How to interpret orders, how to deal, speak to people on the telephone, how to promote, use words and language to promote your flowers. And then level 3 will go through into even more sort of business management, that kind of thing, so that it really equips you to go out and run your own business, and also to create those unique selling points and bespoke type of designs that will really take you further into your career. So either level is very, very strongly shop and business based, so that whether you're going through to a shop of your own, or whether you're just going to run your business from home and do events like weddings and parties, that kind of thing, each sort of career path is got a strong sort of spring point from the course. It equips you to be able to handle all those situations, all those different career paths.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I'm going to move on to Jo now from Animal Management. Hi, Jo.
Hiya.
Hello. So very similar again in terms of if somebody would like to be a vet, is this the right course for them?
Okay, I'm really glad you asked that, actually. So what we would say quite strongly is, if you are absolutely sure that you would like to be a veterinary surgeon, this most probably is not the right course for you. And we have to be really honest about that, because the veterinary medicine courses would rather, or they kind of tend to lean more towards the A-level route. So that is getting the chemistry, the physics, the biology and the maths at A-level. That's not to say it's impossible. We have had students study our level 3 courses at Hadlow in animal management, and they have gone on to get a distinction star, applied for a veterinary medicine course, and they have got in. But what we would always say is, I think it tends to be the A levels that are favoured. We do accept students who would like to go into the veterinary industry, even if not a surgeon. So it's certainly a really good stepping stone for those who want to see if they would like to be a veterinary nurse, for example, because they could come on and do a level 2 diploma and then decide, yes, I like this is what I want to do, and they can then go on to apply for a veterinary nursing course. Or it could be that they do the level 3, which has some veterinary nursing within it on campus, and they can then go on and do a veterinary nursing degree if they would like to. And of course, there are lots of other jobs in the veterinary industry as well, such as a technician, somebody who works in labs. So yes, Hadlow is right for all of those things, but specifically for a veterinary surgeon, my best advice is to stick with the A levels.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Jo.
Okay.
I'm going to move on to Josh now. Hi, Josh.
Hi.
Hi. So in terms of uniform or PPE, is that provided by the college? Is that?
Not provided by the college. We do provide our students with a list of PPE that they need to sort of buy before they come to college, and that would include overalls for if they're out in the field work, and working with the animals. Steel toe cap boots are a must, especially with tractor driving as well. Wellies, because obviously they will be doing milking at some point, whether that's early morning at 5 o'clock or in the afternoon. So they're going to need some wellies. And another one which often gets overlooked is waterproofs. Obviously, if you're milking, you are going to be in a very messy environment.
Yeah.
And they will be required to hose down at the end of milking. So having waterproofs is a must.
Yes.
So
perfect, lovely. Thank you very much. I'm going to move on to Steve now. Hi, Steve.
Hiya.
So just a quick run around the employment-based side of things. If somebody wants to be a self-employed mechanic, is this the course for them?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm glad you asked that. We do quite a lot of business studies with them as well, so that they can learn how to do their own books, how to charge customers out. So self-employed, yeah, absolutely. If they show a particular interest in a specialism on the course, such as fabrication or maybe vehicle electrics, we'll try and nurture that as well, because there are specialist employers out there for that sort of thing. So
Yep.
if you want to be an electronic or an electric technician on vehicles, great demand for those. So we try and nurture anything that they're a bit specialist interested in as well. But yeah, so it's definitely the right way to go.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Steve. So Tim from Fisheries.
Hello.
Hello. So, similar kind of question in regards to the end goal. If somebody would like to work in an aquarium, for an example, is this the course for them? I know earlier you were saying that you do a broad range of kind of fish and the species there, but is this something that could help them get into an aquarium type role?
Yeah, I mean, very much so. I mean, we learn the basics of fish keeping, and in essence, it's really quite simple, but we teach it so that they actually practically can do it. So anyone who's done the level 3 and the level 2 course will have the skills to maintain any aquarium, whether that's freshwater or marine. So they could be working as an aquarist at a sea life centre, or to an aquatic shop like Maidenhead Aquatics, or your local garden centre. So the course really offers everything from aquatics to aquaculture, obviously growing of food, and then fisheries management. We have one student at the moment who's been approached by his employer to actually have his own kind of business doing nettings and electrofishing. So yeah, I mean, there's a wide scope with the course.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Tim. So that is actually it for the live Q&A session for today. Thank you to all of the staff members that have taken their time out of their day to obviously give an amazing insight to all of the courses and support areas, including obviously apprenticeships as well. It's been brilliant. So thank you, everybody. If anybody would like more information in regards to any of the subject areas that they've seen today, then please head over to the Hadlow website and apply for the register for the online open day, which is on the 24th of March. There on the virtual open day, you will be able to register your details and request a call back from any of the subject areas that you have seen today. So please head over there and register your interest. I hope you've all enjoyed it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to the staff once again, and have a wonderful day, everyone. Thanks, everyone. Goodbye.